3, KRZZ La Raza, as their senior account executive with many high-profile clients. Ernesto is no stranger to crafting a message, and so today he will be delivering his icebreaker speech entitled, "I've Always Wanted to Be Somebody." Please help me welcome Ernesto to the stage.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for having me here today. Well, grateful is an understatement. But as far as I can remember, I've always wanted to be somebody. That somebody, I don't know who. I was born in the land of mole, mezcal, and chapulines. That's grasshoppers for those who don't know Spanish. Very tasty and delicious. But I was raised in the valley that they call Silicon. My life has always been one of dual exposure. My background is Mexican, my lifestyle is American. On my father's side, everyone was professional scholars, musicians. My mother's side, everyone was entrepreneurs and business owners. Academic exposure or academic smarts versus street smarts. How others see me, how I see myself. Childhood wasn't easy for me. Parents separated when I was young. My mother left to come to the USA. Then at 9 years old, I came to the USA. Funny story, maybe it tells you or shows you how gullible we are as children, or how gullible I was as a child. My mother shows up after a year of being in the United States and she says, "Mijo, I got a lot of toys for you. You know that bike that I promised you? I have it, but we have to go and get it somewhere." "Sure, Mom, vámonos, let's go." Next thing you know, I'm on this big machine. It was a plane. Then I'm in a little hotel room for a night. Then I'm in a car crossing the big bad border. I didn't realize I'm in another country. America. That's where I was. Here in America, everybody thinks it's all about money and boats and parties and the good life. Well, you can ask my mom if having 3 jobs and 1 overnight is a good life. That was my mom. She was a hard worker. You know, me, I was a student, I was 9, and I also helped her with my baby sister. So, you know, to this day, I always joke around with her when she doesn't want to listen to me. I tell her how I used to wipe her butt. So, 2 things could have happened, or 2 things did happen. One, you could say, poor child, well, those circumstances, they must have been tough. But somehow, some way, something in me told me that this is what independence was. This is what being an adult was. I didn't realize it at the time, but the circumstances I had were a little bit tougher than what other 9-year-olds were going through. Move forward. Yes, I liked school. I liked learning. I thought I was a good student. My teachers thought I was a good student. I don't know if I've always liked school though. It was pretty tough, you know, but I went through it, I did it. And then in school is when I found probably my greatest failure in life, one of my biggest regrets, you know, and that was not graduating high school in time. You know, to me it was, well, I didn't graduate, I can always do something, I like working anyway, until I got home and I broke the news to my mother and she broke down. And she cried and she cried and she cried. And she was embarrassed and she didn't want to call home and tell anybody of what a shame it was that I didn't graduate high school. Up until this point in my life, I did not realize how much I loved my mother. Oh, I loved her a lot. And it was then that I started to realize that maybe what I was doing wasn't right. Maybe the freedom I had, I wasn't using it correctly. Maybe you could say that it's because I came from a broken home that I didn't graduate. There's a lot of excuses. I think I just wasn't aware of the opportunity that was in front of me. I wasn't self-aware. I graduated late, and I got a 2-year scholarship to community college. I told you I wasn't a bad student. I liked school, I liked learning. I just didn't always agree with everything they taught. But I went because I knew that there was something that I had to do, not just for me. Now it was for my mom, for the family, for her name. You know, she wanted to tell a story of a successful man, and she wasn't having that story. Move forward again. I think this part in my 20s is where I learned what friendship was about, and where I learned the difference between how others see me and how I see myself. You know, up until this point, I've always had people tell me that there was something special in me. Maybe that was a mistake, because I always took that and I didn't apply it, or I didn't see myself as special. And it was then that I met more friends and more friends and more friends, and everybody told me I could be somebody except my mind. Except my mind. Running through financial hardships, I could not finish school. I had to drop out. Luckily, somebody saw a vision, and this is when I learned what visions was about, or what having vision was about. Having vision is not about what you see or what you see others doing, but about having vision is what you see yourself doing. It is this point where my life turned from being someone who goes off what others tell him that he can be, to where I could be who I thought I wanted to be. I took a look at everything that had happened, and there was a lot more positive than there was a lot more negative. The positive outweighed the negative. Somebody gave me a book. I began to read. I always liked learning. For some reason, I never liked to read. Then I picked up another book. Then somebody said, listen to this show. Then somebody said, listen to this. Next thing you know, all I'm doing is learning and working and applying. I've always wanted to be somebody, but it's always taken time to figure out who I wanted to be. But now, I'm on a path of achieving the vision that I have in my mind and in my heart, and that is to be somebody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. All right. Thank you again for that icebreaker, Ernesto. So we'll do the same sort of exercise. We're going to take one and pass it down.
Yeah.
Take a couple minutes to give Ernesto some feedback.